Hey, what's up? I'm Hope, and I wanted to share with you today 7 ways to tell if you're being a good mentor or not. These are from the perspective of someone who has been mentored and is now a mentor, and so hopefully these will give you some insight. The first point is you always pick popular kids to mentor. Now, I was not necessarily a popular kid. If you want to argue that I graduated in a school with only 170 people and my graduating class had 8 people in it, then you would probably consider me popular. But that was a really tiny school, and so like a kindergartner was known among the high schoolers. Like, it was that sort of close-knit community. And I'm not saying that the popular kids don't need mentoring, because everybody needs mentoring, but just make sure that you're not only going after those kids just because of their status or their popularity or how many followers they have on Instagram. It is a positive thing, though, to mentor a popular kid for the reason that they are usually a ringleader around like a certain clique and stuff. And so if one kid is doing, like, if the most popular kid starts a new trend or starts to do something or believe differently than the group, then usually the group will follow. And so there's positive aspects of that too, but just make sure you're not always going for the popular kid. The second point I have is not making your kid feel like a project. And this can mean a lot of different things, whether you give your mentee like homework as if it was a class, like so much homework, or if you are trying to meet this quota or whatever, like you're relaying information back to like your church or something saying, yeah, this kid that I mentored like memorized 1 John, the whole book and stuff, and I told her to do it, or I told him to do it. There's some danger in that, because the kid you're mentoring can start to feel like not only will they feel less than, they'll feel like inferior in the bad way. You know what I mean? So yeah, just make sure you're not making your kid feel like a project. The third point is something that I've experienced with mentors, people who have mentored me, and that is guilt tripping or shaming. So this kind of goes hand in hand with the project deal. It's really difficult because you want the person you're mentoring to grow. Like, you really want to see that happen, okay? But part of being a mentor is getting alongside somebody and being like, hey, I'm gonna help you out, and I'm gonna link arms with you, and we're gonna do this together. But at the same time, that person, you're mentoring them for a reason. You're mentoring them because you have something to give to them. You have something to pour into them. Yes, it's a friendship. Yes, it's a relationship, but you're also pouring into them. But it can get really iffy when you're starting to make them feel like, why didn't you get your homework done? Like, why didn't you read that chapter? There are really awesome ways to go about encouragement, to go about encouragement for the person you're mentoring, to do the homework or to do the assignments that you give them. So, and here's another angle you can take with guilt tripping too, and that is if your mentor, or if the person you're mentoring, let's just call it mentee, okay? Bear with me, please. Mentee. If your mentee comes to you and tells you something personal and opens up to you about something that's really personal, and you're like guilt tripping them over that and shaming them over that, you shouldn't expect them to do that ever again. You shouldn't expect any growth from them if you're shaming them for a mistake. They're coming to you because usually they're convicted about it, and they need help, they need advice, they need somebody to pray with them and partner with them. Number 4 is never sharing personal experiences. Now, there is an aspect of oversharing too, telling your mentee that every like sin you've done in the past 5 years, and like, you know, I don't know. It just depends on the person, I guess, or it depends on the person you're mentoring. I don't know. But typically for me, I try to share, like, if I've gone through a breakup or something, or like some situation has happened to me with a boy before, or something happened at church, or something happened at school, like, I've been through that before, like, you can share that. That's cool. That needs to happen. They need to get to know you on a personal level, because you're asking and requiring them to tell you personal things about their life. Be sure to share personal experiences, because it helps. Number 5 is make sure that you're supporting them outside of like your mentorship, like going to their basketball games or football games, or whatever. Like if they like to do theater, going to see their shows and stuff, or if they're in band, going to see the band play. That means a lot. And I know to me, like my mentors, a lot of the time I loved theater in high school, and halfway through college, it really meant a lot to me to see somebody that I had opened up to, that I looked up to, sitting there in the audience. Like that means a lot. So make sure you're investing time, not only like in the times that you meet, like if you go get coffee or something, if you go hang out together somewhere, like that you always support them outside of that. This kind of goes, number 6 kind of goes hand in hand with the project deal and the guilt tripping, shaming sort of thing. But this is sort of a checklist. Like, don't make your like time together feel like a checklist that needs to be marked off and completed. What I mean by that is, you know, you're sitting there talking to each other, and your mentor is just checking up on you, holding you accountable. Mentors, it's all good to hold the person you're mentoring accountable. That is a great thing. That's what you're there for, accountability. I have a lot of like anxiety about Bible reading plans for some reason. I read the New Testament in high school, I think when I was a freshman, and it just like, something about a checklist just like freaks me out. I actually didn't finish. I think I had like 5 chapters left, because I'm a procrastinator, and checklists scare me. Like getting things done scares me in that sense. Y'all know those little Bible app, like Bible studies, like lessons that you can complete, like devotionals. I don't know why I forgot that. Devotionals on your Bible app, and you like mark. Those things scare me to death. I never finish them, okay? I don't know if I'm the only one. But make sure you're not like making your mentee feel like, you know, here's the amount of days you have to do this. Check this off. If you don't, you're in the red. You know, not a good way. Not a good way to pour into somebody and build a relationship. And last but not least, number 7 is always being right. And what I mean by this is, there can be instances where the person you're mentoring is, you know, far off the mark of truth, if you will. And they're struggling with something, and they have a question about something, and they ask you about it, and you just, you know, there's no other way. Like, you just attack them and say, this is the only answer, and you're stupid for thinking otherwise. You know, always have this attitude and this air of humility when you're talking to somebody who's younger than you and has questions. In fact, not only should you have humility when you're talking to people younger than you, but people your age, you should have humility talking to, and people, especially people who are older than you. And I struggle with all of those aspects. You know, I like being right. You know, I don't think I know anybody who doesn't like to be right, because it validates this pride in you, and makes you feel good about yourself. But that's a video for another day. So yeah, make sure that you're keeping an open mind but also adhering to the truth and at the same time, and you're listening. All right, well, that concludes this video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any requests, if you want me to talk about anything, chat about anything, comment down below and I will get to it. Thank you for watching.